Part 71. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 701. The monks who returned to the starry sky were disappointed, and this came out. Did they really miss out with the UFO? Who is that guy? Yes, he must be found out. I don't believe he can really keep that legacy mansion. I seem to remember who he is. Yes, Mr. Danking should know. A monk slapped his forehead suddenly, then turned to Yu Danking on the other side. Master Danking, may I ask if he is Tao Zion of the Tao family? Yu Danking was about to take people away, and he had nothing to hide when he heard this. Sooner or later, his identity would be revealed, so he nodded and said, "Yes, it is Tao Zion from the Tao family. Everyone, farewell, let's go first." Yu Danking and the others did not gain anything at all. After clasping their fists with everyone, they boarded the Zionshuo and walked away. As soon as Tao Zion's name was reported, most of the people present knew his origins, and they never expected to be robbed by such a guy. Isn't he the abandoned son of the Tao family? Although Su Xianxian and Tao Yuxing's actions made everyone laugh, but this Tao Zion is not much better, not the extreme incompetence. How can he be used like this? But what's going on now? Where did Zion Jun come from beside him? Could it be a trick released by the Tao family to hide the real purpose of the Tao family? These people still want to wait and wait for Tao Zion to come out, but what can they do when Tao Zion comes out? No one in the UFA could get through that line, and they were also helpless outside. They took in Tao Zion and his party from Zionfu, and swaggered away in the sight of everyone. Everyone sent out messages to inform them of the matter. Some families hoped that the masters of the family would intercept them, and those who had no background quickly sold the news, and they could earn a pen immortal stone anyway. Anyway, when someone came over again, even Guyao and the others couldn't catch the tails of Zionshuo, and they didn't know where they went. The existence of the Immortal Monarch Peak's legacy mansion and the final ownership of the legacy mansion caused a great sensation in Yuxian City. The Immortal Monarch Peak made all the Immortal Monarch masters in the city beat their chests with regret. Why didn't they notice it earlier? Most of the cultivators took a fancy to the Tao family's jokes. They also did not expect that the final winner was Tao Zion from the Tao family, a sidekick who was abandoned by the Tao family and made them look down on them. However, they missed out on the UFO, but the one who regretted the most should be the Tao family. If Tao Zion didn't return for a day, they would regret it for a day, but the UFO passed them by. If they hadn't given up on Tao Zion, if Tao Zion was still a disciple of the Tao family, he would definitely bring the left mansion back to the Tao family as soon as he got it. Hearing the news brought back by the monks who entered the mansion, the master of the mansion is very wealthy. No matter which family gets it, it can help the family to rise to a higher level. Such a great opportunity is obviously available to the Tao family, but it was so missed. I heard that the master of the Tao family was so angry that he vomited blood, and the elders of the Tao family scolded Tao Yuxing so much. This disgusting thing, the Tao family can now sit back and enjoy the legacy mansion. This evil obstacle, Tao Patriarch scolded his son angrily. The elder also said yin and yang strangely. It's because the owner of Tao Yuxing is too indulgent on weekdays, so he offends Tao Zion out of proportion. I also heard that Tao Zion's monks have at least 2 immortal monarchs, and Tao Yuxing is such a great help. It's out. Otherwise, the Tao family might have a chance to overtake the Yu family and own the entire Yuxian city. The Tao family's face was ashen with anger, but he couldn't refute it. He could not wait to stuff the son of Tao Yuxing into his mother's stomach and recreate it. The Tao family sent many people out to find Tao Zion, and there was still hope in their hearts. After all, Tao Zion has the blood of the Tao family flowing through him, so he may not be willing to return to the Tao family, and he is too eye-catching with such a large amount of wealth. Now, only by returning to the Tao family can they get the protection of the Tao family. Can always be fruitless. Fortunately, Tao Yuxing was exiled. Otherwise, if he still stayed in Yuxian city, his life would not necessarily be more comfortable than in exile. It is enough that Tao Ziyan refused to return to the Tao family with the Ziyanfu without a trace. The children have trouble finding him every day, and try the taste of betrayal and separation. When the Tao family was searching, Gu Yao and his party's Ziyanshuo had already left the star field of Yuxiancheng, and got rid of all the trackers behind them. At this time, Tao Ziyan was also in the mood to divide the spoils. He entered the Yufa with the help of the four Gu Yao. The smooth refining of the Immortal Palace was also due to the protection of the four of them, and he got rid of all the spectators. It was also thanks to them that he was suffering from with the realm of the previous life. The cultivation base could not be improved for a while, so even though he fought with Su Chen in his mouth, he was very grateful to them in his heart. Therefore, the items in the Immortal Mansion belonged to the four of Gu Yao. He listed all the treasures on the list and let Gu Yao and the others choose them. Those immortal stones were simply divided into half, and this half included the repayment of debts. Ziyanshi Gu Yao and the others accepted them, but Gu Yao and the others were unwilling to pick half of the items on the list. It was enough to pick a few items that they could use, and they didn't lack these resources now. After picking out a few items and immortal artifacts that were useful for their cultivation, Gu Yao saw one item and asked, "What is this?" Tao Ziyan glanced at it. It was in the pile of junk that Jin Hong classified as unknown. He didn't know it very well. That guy is too, he has a hobby of collecting, so if you are interested, I will give it to you. By the way, I will also give you all the fairy grass in it. Anyway, I don't know how to make alchemy. Gu Yao is also welcome. When the time comes, he will concoct a pill and give him more pills. After collecting these immortal grasses, Gu Yao played with a piece of ore in his hand. The dark ore was dotted with golden light, like stars twinkling in the night, the size of a small wash basin, and even his divine sense could not infiltrating in. It is no wonder that it will be collected by Senior Jin Hong. The reason why he would be curious about it was that when he saw the image of this ore on the list, he had a slight fluctuation in his heart. Now that he held it in his hand, this feeling became clearer. Really give it to me? Maybe it's a rare treasure, maybe there's a spiritual treasure inside. Tao Ziyan sneered directly, when Lingbao is so good? Besides, even if Lingbao is sent out of my hands, it means that it has no fate with us. Okay, no matter what good thing it is yours if it is given to you. Now, what I'm interested in is what kind of person Jin Hong is reincarnated into. If it happens to be a coincidence, it would be great when he happened to be a child, haha. Gu Yao laughed, thanked him, put the ore in the storage ring first, and waited for the right time to unlock the secret inside. There is a saying that people have short hands and eat people with short mouths. The half of the immortal stones are very impressive, most of them are high-grade immortal stones, and hundreds of top-quality immortal stones were obtained, so the four Gu Yao decided to accompany Tao Ziyan to Jin Hong. Address, otherwise he is an angel, and he can't go very far in this starry sky. Besides, Tao Ziyan's realm before his reincarnation is still there. When chatting, he occasionally talks about matters of cultivation. A few words can give Gu Yao and the four of them a lot of insight. They belong to each other. The four Gu Yao and the others did not know the address that Jin Hong mentioned, and there was no way to do it if they had a map. Tao Ziyan, who had lived one lifetime, knew it better, and pointed it out to Gu Yao and the others on the spherical map. It's here, when I traveled in the past. I have been there, and there is a layer of prohibition, and most of the people living in the prohibition are mortals from the fairyland. It's strange, there are mortals in the immortal world, but they are still different from the mortals in the lower world. Their lifespan is longer than them, and their physical fitness is much stronger. Otherwise, Jin Hong's stingy guy would be willing to leave the immortal mansion to me. People go there to bring people out, and this life may not be related to cultivation. Gu Yao nodded, I really don't know, It turns out that there is such a place in the fairy world, or Taoist friend is well informed. That's it, Tao Zion raised his tail again. It's far enough here, we have to use the teleportation array on the way, Chi Changjai reminded. Tao Zion waved his hand proudly and said, don't worry, what I have now is immortal stone, I can afford it. The location of the teleportation array is marked on the spherical map, which can be used by the traveling monks. They stopped and walked like this. It took them more than half a year to come to a marginal area where the fairy energy was much thinner. Tao Zion commanded. Chi Changjai drove Xianchuo directly into the unmanned starry sky ahead. If Guyao hadn't been promoted to immortal monarch, and if his cultivation base was weaker, it would be difficult for him to find out if others told him that there was a restriction here. But now he also senses that a layer of prohibition protects everything inside. With this layer of prohibition, no matter how many changes in the starry sky outside, it will not have much impact on the inside, and the star beasts cannot pass through the prohibition. Say, it's another world outside. There is a large area of land in the ban, and the immortal energy is still very thin. When the consciousness is released, they find a city in the distance. They hide the immortal shuttle and fly over. Tao Zion took out the jade pendant that Jin Hong left him, but the jade pendant did not respond. It seems that it is not close to the vicinity, we have to go further, this place is really not small. He knew that there was such a place, but how could a cultivator treat mortals? How much interest in life, so did not go deep. Xianchuo has been flying at a low altitude, far away from the city they first discovered. As they went deeper and deeper, they discovered that the mortal kingdom here has established a dynasty, and it is not that there are no practitioners at all, but their cultivation is very low. But it is the appearance of the early and middle stage of the mortal immortals. Maybe after they have enough strength, they will leave such a mortal kingdom and go outside to pursue the avenue of longevity. After all, no matter how high the status in the mortal world, the longevity is limited. It's on, Yuppie has responded, it should be in the next city, hurry up. Tao Zion waited, and finally waited for Yuppie's response, and shouted excitedly. If there was no response, he suspected that it was too late. Jin Hong's reincarnation reincarnated again. After all, there are too many accidents in the mortal world. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 702. Following the induction of the jade pendant, Guyao and his party finally came to a market town, not a city. Tao Zion let go of his consciousness and swept away, and soon found the target. That is, his expression was a little weird, and he had to laugh. Su Chen immediately guessed, I found it? What's the situation? Even if it is reincarnated, the soul fluctuation should still be that one, so after arriving here, you can accurately find people without using jade pendants. Tao Zion waved his hand and said, I'll take you there. You can see it for yourself. I didn't expect that Jin Hong, who was like the flower of Gaoling in her previous life, has become a poor little bully after being reincarnated. High mountain flower? Does Senior Jin Hong know Tao Zion's evaluation of him? Small poor? Senior Jin Hong is still a child. What senior? Now he's a poor kid. If we don't show up, we might be bullied to death. Tao Zion expressed his dissatisfaction with Guyao and the others calling Jin Hong a senior. He felt that Jin Hong's current situation was much worse than his own. Deserves special treatment. The 5 people dodged and entered the town. After using the blindfold, the pedestrians on the road did not express any surprise that there were 5 more people beside them. Of course, in retrospect, they would not be able to remember what they looked like, and they shrank into the crowd. An inch, a few steps came to the destination pointed by Tao Zion, a courtyard in the west of the town. Before they arrived, Guyao and the others saw the yard as well, and saw a big child riding a small child as a horse, surrounded by 7 or 8 people, clapping their hands and applauding. When they arrived, the little child fell down without any strength, and the older child whipped him with the whip in his hand. "Get up! Useless things, this young master ordered you to get up and ride for me, otherwise you will be killed today. Don't think about eating anymore. No, I'll be hungry tomorrow." Being bullied like this, the little child didn't cry with tears or snot, but contained anger in his eyes. But the more he was so stubborn, the older child and the people around him take pleasure in bullying him. "Master, why don't you put him on a leash, ah dash." Before they could finish speaking, they were blown away by a force, including the big kid. It was Tao Zian who shot. Guyao and the others didn't think it was different. Tao Zian didn't do anything to save people. In their eyes, this is the reincarnation of Jin Hong's predecessors. After the reincarnation of the masters in the previous life, they were so humiliated and unbearable to watch. "Go down. Who dares to take action on this young master's side?" Seeing that the big kid is also a child, Tao Zian's shot was not serious, but he just fell slightly, and no minor injuries were left, so the big kid fell to the ground. Shouted. Immediately afterwards, he saw the little child flying out of thin air, and 5 figures appeared out of thin air in the direction he flew to. The little child landed in front of one of them, and the man frowned and said, "It's really dirty and ugly." Although the mouth is disgusting, the movement of the hands is not slow, and the dust removal method will help the little child to remove the dust, but the little child clenched his fists and looked at the sudden appearance with a stubborn and vigilant face. "Quickly take them down and bring that little back to this young master," the big boy screamed at the people around him. "Master," they appeared suddenly. "Master, they seem to be immortals." Those servants and guards were not at all knowledgeable, and no one saw how these people did it, so they fell out, and the child flew over by himself. No, it should be said that the flight was controlled by those people. "Useless things, this young master ordered you to take people down quickly. If you don't listen to this young master, I will let my father beat you to death." The big child beat and scolded loudly. Tao Zian was in a very bad mood. Although he came over to see a joke, he didn't expect to see a poor little boy who was being bullied. He was covered in injuries when he was so small. Where did the injury come from? Isn't the scene enough to explain? Tao Zian said with a cold face, "Let's go first, I want to see what kind of people dare to treat him like this." To a few mortals, few of them have no intention of taking action, but this matter must be resolved. Although Tao Zian was entrusted, it is impossible to take people away so easily, so a few people left the yard and returned to the town. "I found an inn and stayed there. After coming here, they pay attention to the living environment here. The currency in circulation here is mainly fairy beads, which are round beads that are a few grades worse than low-grade fairy stones. Of course, there are also low-grade fairy stones, but there are not many people who own them. Considering when Senior Jin Hong was reincarnated, he lived here, so they found a way to get the pen fairy beads on the way, so it was not difficult to find an inn to stay. The reason why he didn't leave the town is to wait for the other party to find him, and also to find out the child's current background. After leaving the yard, Tao Zian held the little child under his arm with a look of disgust. The little child did not make a sound all the way, and frowned, as if thinking about the impact of this change. After staying at the inn, he asked the staff to bring food suitable for children. After it was delivered, Tao Zian put the child on the stool and said. Although the child was so hungry that his stomach was growling, he kept his fingers silent. Tao Zian held his breath and didn't speak, and he didn't know who he was angry with. The child was even more nervous. Su Chen also smirked in his heart, where he couldn't see it. Tao Zian didn't know how to get along with such a child. Even if the same soul was reincarnated, it was a new life, and it was a completely different person from the previous life. Those who took advantage of the jokes ended up at a loss. He rubbed his stomach and said, "I'll come. Don't worry, we're not bad people, You have to eat before you have the strength to talk to us, right? By the way, what's your name? We can't keep calling you child. Tao Zion sighed and walked out of the room. As soon as he left, the air pressure in the room rose a lot. The child was particularly sensitive and his body relaxed. He said in a thin voice, "My name is Xiaobeishu." No matter how powerful he was in his previous life, he was essentially a child now. Under Su Chen's deliberate comfort, the child quickly relaxed and devoured it while holding the bowl. It's impossible to hide all this from Tao Zion outside. As soon as he thought about it, he searched the whole town. Unfortunately, there was not a single person surnamed Xia in the whole town. Except for this child, it showed that Xiaobeishu had a different background. But he also asked him to find the guys who bullied Xiaobeishu, and followed them to know the general situation of Xiaobeishu. After giving Xiaobeishu a full meal and healing the wounds on his body, and letting him sleep, Guyao asked curiously, "What's going on?" The four of them didn't do anything superfluous, they all handed it over to Tao Zion. Tao Zion said with a sullen face, "He is not from the town, but he has something to do with someone from the Chen family, which is equivalent to handing it over to the Chen family. The Chen family can't understand our situation, so they sent someone to deliver the letter. It won't be long before people who are really related to him will come here, and there are people guarding us outside this inn. Guyao thinks it's okay, then we'll continue to wait. It's just this time to help Cypress adjust his body. You should see that he has a good talent, only Jin Lingan. Oh yes, the people here are called Bodhisattva Immortals." Pulse. Tao Zion nodded. He immediately checked the child's cultivation talent. Of course, even if he didn't have talent, he and Guyao's methods could lead him into cultivation. Of course, mortals have the benefits of mortals. Although they have a short lifespan, in this world protected by the restrictions of heaven and earth, they can die without worrying about the attacks of star beasts and various dangers in the starry sky. The Chen family, the young master of the Chen family, Chen Wang, kept crying. He insisted that Xiaobeishu be brought back, and Tao Zion and the others had to be taught a lesson. However, Father Chen would not let his son make trouble this time. Because according to the reports of the servants, perhaps the entire Chen family is not their opponent, so they can only report it up, and the person who sent Xiaobeishu here will deal with it. Cry, why cry? It's not easy to go in this town, why do you want to make trouble with that little thing? Father Chen was also crying. And his wife didn't understand why Father Chen was holding back on this matter. Only Father Chen knew about Xiaobeishu's situation. The reason why Mother Chen allowed her son to bully Xiaobeishu was that Xiaobeishu was the illegitimate son of Father Chen who was secretly born outside. Of course regarded as a thorn in the eye. Seeing that Madame really wanted to send someone to the inn to arrest people, Father Chen reprimanded, "Come back. No one is allowed to go. To tell you the truth, this was sent by the master. If something goes wrong, is it your responsibility?" Mrs. Chen was dumbfounded. Did the host send it? That obviously has nothing to do with Father Chen, then why didn't you tell me earlier? What can I do if the master doesn't let me talk about it? Now I can't hold it back. When the master comes, look at your son, don't let him make trouble again, the master will not take him seriously. For the sake of the child, it is up to him. Father Chen took things seriously. Madame Chen was really frightened, she coaxed her son to divert her attention, and finally stopped grabbing Xiaobeishu. In the inn here, while waiting, Tao Zion found that Xiaopo had changed very quickly under the conditioning. In a blink of an eye, he had become a fairy child with red lips and white teeth. The little fairy boy who blushes when he pinches his face, the gap between them is so big that he loves to bully the little fairy boy more and more. No, the little fairy made the big devil tearful again, looking so pitiful. Su Chen snatched the little fairy over. "Here again, you say how old you are, and you bully our little Cypress, what evil taste. Su Chen never admits that he didn't save the little fairy from the clutches of the devil for the first time, because he also satisfied his own bad taste first. He has seen Senior Jinhong, and the little cypress tree like this is really too cute. But several people found that although Xiaobeishi was bullied by Tao Ziyan, among the five, he was the least vigilant towards Tao Ziyan, and he didn't really relax his vigilance towards Su Chen and Gu Yao, who seemed to be talkative. Strange thing, maybe even if he is truly reincarnated, he still regards Tao Ziyan as a trusted friend in his soul. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 703. A few days later, a luxury carriage entered the town under the of guards, and was welcomed into Chen's house by Chen's father. All of this naturally could not escape Tao Ziyan's attention. After a glance, he found that there was a monk in the carriage, and his strength was actually in the late stage of Fangxian. Fangxian late stage? We have come all the way, this strength is very rare. It seems that Xiaobeishi's life experience is not simple, Gu Yao said in surprise. Tao Ziyan nodded, yes, the people from the Chen family's main family are here. The Chen family here is just a small branch. There are many such branches in this land, but the cypress tree is surnamed Xia. Although Xiaobeishi remembers a long time ago, he still can't remember where he came from. He only knows that he has been called a since he was sensible. In the yard where he lives, the servants don't take him seriously. Yes, I have been starving to death for a long time. On the other side, the carriage entered Chen's house, and the people in the carriage came down. The leader was a young man in his 30s, but there was a sullen look between his eyebrows, and he seemed to have a very bad temper. The people following him, on the contrary, it is immortal, and it looks extraordinary. What about people? The people who handed it over to you actually don't like it, the leading young man said, displeased. The monk said, I'll come, I've found his location, so I'll bring him here. The man flew out as he spoke, and his appearance was naturally admired and revered by the Chen family. Father Chen was both happy and anxious. He was happy that the person would be brought back soon, but he was anxious because he was ineffective at taking care of him. The cultivator seemed to enjoy the adoring and awe-inspiring gazes of others. Although cultivators were rarely seen in this world, he did not hide his figure, and flew to the yard of the inn where Gu Yao and the others were in exclamations. Over the sky, reaching out to grab the child below. With just a bang, his outstretched hand was bounced back. Only then did Tao Ziyan give him a look. He was just such an ordinary immortal. If they hadn't deliberately released water, how could he have been able to find Xiaobeishi's location? Can't let Xiaobeishi be taken by him. Go. When the palm was bounced back, the restriction over the courtyard was also revealed, and the cultivator was shocked and said, Who are you? Why did you take away my Chen family? You are also worthy of asking about this seat's identity? Get off this seat. Tao Ziyan's tongue cracked with thunder, and the cultivator fell dizzy for a while, and the prohibition above disappeared in an instant, making this person bang. He slammed into the ground with a bang, making his eyes glow with gold stars. Xiaobeishu hid behind Tao Ziyan, and after a while, he pulled his robe and carefully stuck out his little head from behind to look around, seeing that Tao Ziyan wanted to pull him out and knead him again. The people of the Chen family thought that the cultivator would bring the person back soon, but they just couldn't wait. They didn't know, but there were quite a few people in the town who saw him fall. When Father Chen got the news, he ran to the young man and told the story with a trembling voice. The young man's first reaction was to question, impossible. How could Su Xianchang be planted? However, the person did not come back for such a long time, indicating that something went wrong. The young man sank his face and said, Take the person, I will personally go there. Trip. In the small courtyard, After bringing the cultivator in, Tao Zian searched his soul unceremoniously. He had to be scrupulous about mortals, but it was unnecessary for the cultivator. The cultivator did not lose consciousness and clearly felt that Tao Zian was being attacked by Tao Zian. Soul search, no resistance. At this moment he realized that this time he planted too thoroughly, because he encountered a master, but he didn't understand how he would provoke the other party. It didn't take long for Tao Zian to finish reading the relevant memories. He threw people away, frowned and explained to Gu Yao and the others. Of course, their communication avoided Xiao Beishu, and Xiao Beishu didn't hear a word. Arrive. Tao Zian first complained, the world of mortals is trouble. Xiao Beishu follows his mother's surname, and his biological mother is an ordinary woman. Because of her beauty, she was favored by the powerful son and married back, but it didn't take long for the woman to die in childbirth. The middle child didn't survive either. What happened to the little cypress tree? Su Chen said in surprise. It was stolen, so why is the powerful son so useless? Don't recognize such a father. Tao Zian continued to explain with a sullen face, that guy married another one not long after. As you can guess, the daughter of the Chen family was married later, and the little cypress was sent far away, living under the control of the Chen family. This Chen family, Tao Zian wanted to destroy the Chen family at once, but his reason told him that all this should wait for Xiao Beishu. He will handle it well in the future, and this is his own cause and effect. Then what are you waiting for? To find out the true life experience of the little cypress tree, let's just call the door. Su Chen waved his hand and said, these bumps in the mortal world, placed in front of these monks, are really not worth mentioning, no more. The conspiracy calculations of in the face of real strength, simply cannot withstand a blow. Tao Zian looked down at the child with clear eyes and ignorant eyes, and said, I know who your father is, do you want me to take you to find him? The little cypress wrinkled his nose and said, I have parents? Chen Wan called me a bastard, and others said I was with no parents and no mother. Tao Zian was angry again, but held back his anger and said, who doesn't have a parent? Listen to their nonsense. Your mother died when she gave birth to you, but your father is still there. He is a fool and is calculated by others. If you can't protect your mother, you still don't know there is a child like you. Little Cypress had tears in his eyes. I have parents? I'm not a that no one wants. Of course not. You are a big baby, you say yes. Tao Zian gestured to Su Chen with his eyes and they quickly agreed, otherwise they would be polite. God knows when he has patiently coaxed the child, that guy Jinhong will really give it to him looking for trouble. This guy had better not retrieve the memory of his past life, otherwise he would not be able to spare him. Yes, Xiao Beishu is of course the big treasure, the treasure of all of us. Your unconscionable father, let's go and beat Xiao Beishu to vent his anger, Su Chen said with his fists. The little cypress looked at it with tears in her eyes, and after a long while, she nodded and said, okay. Tao Zian picked up the little cypress tree and flew out with the four of Gu Yao, leaving the Chen family and the cultivator behind. When the Chen family found here, they found Su Xianchang paralyzed there, and learned from him that what happened after the shock, and the secret that has been hidden for many years is about to be exposed. These people were eager to rescue them, but no matter how fast they were, they couldn't be faster than Tao Zian and his party. If it wasn't for the little cypress, they would have flown faster. I was very excited by the little cypress that was flying in the sky, and only then did I completely let go of my guard against Gu Yao and the others. Tao Zian seemed to snort unhappily. He didn't expect that it would be so easy to coax Xiaobadian to be happy. If he had known, he would have taken him to fly earlier. No matter how slow they were, they reached the top of a city a day later. The city they had passed by before was not small in this dynasty. That's it, that guy's status in this dynasty is not low, he is a member of the royal family, but he is blind and confused. Tao Zian pointed to the city below and said, he let go of his consciousness and quickly found two among the people who are related to Xiaobeishi. One of them is the blind and confused father, and the other is a child who has just learned to speak, not to mention the half-child who was born later. Let's go directly." Tao Zian waved his hand, and a few people disappeared and flew to the luxurious mansion. The family of three is staying in the garden. The man is handsome, the woman is gentle, and the child is innocent. It seems that the family of three is very harmonious, but Tao Zian was annoyed when he saw the child in his arms, and flew down with the little cypress tree. Show body shape. 5 people and 1 child suddenly appeared in the garden, and someone immediately shouted, "Who?" Then a large number of guards appeared and surrounded the garden. The man even protected the woman and child behind him for the first time, and looked at the person who appeared on alert and said sharply, "Who are you? Why did you appear in my mansion?" Tao Zian looked at the 3 in front of him with a half-smiling smile, and the other guards rushed over to arrest them. In order not to interfere with Tao Zian's work, Gu Yao and Su Chen waved their hands gently to both sides, and the encirclement immediately retracted, and there was an invisible force. Stop them from moving forward, and then a monk rushed out. But all this was ignored by a few people. Tao Zian pointed to the sky and said, "We came from the sky, who do you think we are?" The man's pupils shrank suddenly. He was in his position. Of course, he knew more about the situation. Those who could show up like this were probably from outside, but the local monk wanted to go out, but it was even more difficult. Protected by powerful people, it is easy to die. As a result, very few people went out, but occasionally someone would come in and take away the people inside. The man's identity is not low, and he ordered the guard, "You retreat," and respectfully said, "Several immortals, why are you here?" Tao Zian chuckled, "I brought this child to see what a blind and confused relative looks like. Little Cypress, do you see it? Do you want to recognize him?" "Ah!" the woman behind screamed. The man glanced at the little cypress tree suspiciously and asked, "What does this mean?" No one wants to admit that they are blind and confused. Little Cypress seriously looked at the man and the younger child who was being protected by his baby, then turned his head and lay in Tao Zian's arms, saying, "I don't have a father." Tao Zian was too lazy to explain to the man, so he hit the Dao Zianju, and the man immediately sensed the strong blood ties between him and the little cypress tree, and his face suddenly showed disbelief. "This is my child." Tao Zian said lightly, "His surname is Xia and his name is Cypress, because there is a cypress tree growing in the yard. I came for him and rescued him from the Chen family. As for why you don't know that there is still a child living outside, why is the surname Xia, it should be your own investigation. I brought the child here to tell you that I will take this child away. From now on, he will be my only disciple. As for the future, wait, if he is successful in cultivation, he will come back to deal with him, and if he repays his kindness and his revenge, you must all live well. By the way, I'll tell you something before I leave. When we found the little cypress tree, he was being ridden as a horse by a child of the Chen family, and he was also called a bastard." Tao Zian gave the man a special look. After speaking, regardless of the man's astonished and unbelievable expressions, the 5 of them took the small cypress tree and sprang up from the sky again. As for what the man was going to do with the bomb they dropped, it was none of their business. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 704. Tao Zian didn't stay here any longer. He took Xiaobeishu and Gu Yao and left straight away. After leaving the restricted area of heaven and earth, they discussed it and stayed nearby for a while, so that Xiaobeishu could lay a solid foundation for his practice. Well, by then he will have to go back to deal with those people related to him. According to the map, they settled down in a city called Zao. In the eyes of the locals, they bought a piece of the hill with a lot of money, including a large yard at the foot of the hill, but look at the line, except for the children in it, The other 5 adults are all in the Earth Immortals, and the residents of Zao City do not dare to give birth to other thoughts, and they also try to make friends with them. Since they didn't leave in a short time, the 4 of Guyao simply regarded themselves as ordinary immortal cultivators. They didn't just push out and refuse the contact with the local people. Quan regarded it as another practice. After sinking their hearts, their state of mind was indeed much calmer, and this kind of peace could not be replaced by Fushandan. After integrating into the local life, they focused their attention on Xiaobeishu, and everyone was eager to try and train him to make him a well-rounded talent. For example, Guyao and Su Chen were particularly active in teaching Xiaobeishu about alchemy, taking him to identify all kinds of immortal herbs, explaining their medicinal properties and the application of alchemy. Qi Changjai took him to practice swordsmanship. When he wanted to explain the Buddhist scriptures to Xiaobeishu, he was finally kicked out by Tao Ziyan, who couldn't bear it. "This is my apprentice, you want to teach your apprentice to go out and collect one? It's enough to practice swordsmanship and alchemy. If he has talent in this area, Tao Ziyan doesn't mind learning more, but what can he study Buddhist scriptures for? To be a monk?" Without seeing Su, this guy is not a serious monk himself, and he can't even think of taking his apprentice to a crooked road. In such a slapstick atmosphere, Xiaobeishu's temperament has become more and more active, and it seems to have gone to 2 extremes from the Jinhong scene in the fairy mansion. Su Chen sat on the tree, pointed at the little cypress trees that were bouncing in the mountains, and said to Su Chen, "Look, I know that this guy Tao Ziyan did it on purpose, to see what he taught the little cypress trees to be. Like a little skin monkey, if Senior Jinhong has a spirit in the sky, I don't know what kind of anger he will be like. In fact, there is also a part of his credit, mainly because Xiaobeishu's life experience is pitiful and wants to make him happy, but now, who made Tao Ziyan blast Su out? Tao Ziyan, offend Su is to offend him." Su Chen, Liaxu nodded and said, "Unfortunately, the little cypress tree has some Buddha nature. The child grows up very fast. When he first came, he was only 6 years old. He looked like he was only 4 or 5 years old. In the blink of an eye, he was a teenager. His eyebrows were bright and he couldn't see the shadow of the past. In the middle stage of Fangxian, this is because several people took turns to lay the foundation for him in the first few years and did not let him advance. In this way, the later stage of Fangxian in the city may not be his opponent. Over the years, he has learned a little bit of everything with the 5 adults, except Buddhist scriptures, which are not allowed. Of course, it is not only Buddhist scriptures that he has virtual meetings, so he knows everything and is not very proficient at all. Of course, he is more knowledgeable than his peers. Although it was not very qualitative at first, this was also the intention of the 5 adults. After a certain age, it would be up to him to see which path he prefers to take. The result was unexpected, but in the expectation of Guyao and the others, Xiaobeishu did not follow the path of the previous life, but chose the same path of talismanism as Tao Ziyan. "It's surprising that I didn't follow the path of my past life, but after all, this life is a new life, and it is completely separated from the previous life, so I can understand it, but I will choose runes." In fact, they have seen some signs these years, that is, among the 5 of them, the young cypress is obviously more reliant on being close to Tao Ziyan. Perhaps when he was brought out, the impression of Tao Ziyan's performance in his mind was too great, like a mountain protecting him in front of him. In such a peaceful environment, Su Chen, who had not sensed the signs of breakthrough before, also entered the retreat. The reason why the 4 of Guyao stayed here was partly because of the small cypress trees, and partly because of Su Chen. Su Chen's retreat made Xiaobeishu a little uncomfortable. After all, Su Chen usually didn't have a senior image, so he often played with him. It happened that a monk of the same age in the city asked him to practice together, so he said goodbye to the adults and went out. Tao Ziyan is also very relieved to let him go out alone, because there are a lot of defensive measures put on him, both overt and covert. It can be said that no one in Zao City can really threaten Xiaobei. No matter how powerful they can also be here. Immediately sensed to go to the rescue. As a result, he came back alone a few days after he went out, and then got into his training room without a word, and went to retreat like Su Chen. This abnormality made Tao Ziyan very strange. What happened? I thought he would go out for at least a month this time. Gu Yao nodded and said, it's a bit abnormal. Do you want to check something? Over the years, they have watched the little cypress grow up with their own eyes. Too much meddling? Tao Ziyan thought the same. Since Xiaobei didn't tell him, shouldn't he ask? However, as a parent, he was worried that the child would be wronged outside and would not come back to tell him. After thinking about it, Tao Ziyan still ran out and checked it secretly, but it didn't make him angry either. Do you know why this is so? Tao Ziyan's face was a little distorted. It's the Yi family in the city who actually had the idea of our little cypress, and wanted Xiao Cypress to be the son-in-law of their Yi family. Monk, what's going on in your head? What? Gu Yao's chin almost fell. How old is Xiaobei? In their eyes, he is still a child. Tao Ziyan said with a dark face, it's not that I have taken a fancy to the power behind Xiaobei. Xiaobei has learned a lot and can do everything. In the eyes of outsiders, we are a bit mysterious, so we want to do it first. They are behind negotiating, but the little cypress has been cultivated by you in the past few years, and the consciousness is much higher than the cultivation base, so Xiao Cypress heard it, and came back first when he was unhappy. Qi Changjai also had a smile in his eyes, and turned to look at Gu Yao, because he remembered the past. When he and Gu Yao were together, they were only teenagers, and they have come together for so many years. Gu Yao and his soul are connected, where can't see the meaning in his eyes. His face is a little hot. Tao Ziyan didn't expect that when they were discussing about the little cypress tree, the two of them ate dog food, and was so angry that he wanted to set the two on fire. The face turned darker. Enough is enough for you. Gu Yao turned his face embarrassedly and patted his hot cheeks, while Qi Changjai ignored Tao Ziyan's unthreatening stare, and said lightly, you've been worrying too much. Everyone has treated the cypress tree as a child these years, but is he not? The innocent and worry-free child. Maybe this incident reminded him that he is no longer young, and he has to bear some things, so he will go to retreat. Tao Ziyan calmed down instantly. You mean he wants to go back and solve his problems? Qi Changjai said, do you think he forgot what happened back then? That's definitely not the case. Tao Ziyan was still confident, and then sighed, then let him go. If it is solved sooner, he can practice without distractions. After that, Xiaobei stopped running out after leaving the customs. He was much more diligent in his cultivation than before, and his cultivation level rose steadily. Even if there were adults watching, it would not cause the phenomenon of unstable foundation. Tao Ziyan has experienced it once, so he also supports Gu Yao's teaching of Xiaobei's body refining method. In this way, under the condition of both internal and external cultivation, 5 years later, Xiaobei ushered in his human immortal calamity. The human immortal robbery passed without any danger. Xiaobei stepped into the early stage of human immortal. When he consolidated his cultivation base and then came to Tao Ziyan and Gu Yao, he hesitated about what to say. Tao Ziyan pointed out, flicking his forehead. He laughed and scolded, is there anything I can't tell you about master and a few uncles? Is there anything we don't know about you? Xiaobei laughed and returned to the attitude of kissing again, saying, master, uncles, I want to go back. When master took me away, he said that I would go back to repay kindness and revenge. I think now is the time. Then let's go, I'll take you there. How about you? Tao Ziyan looked at Gu Yao and the others, while Su Chen was still in retreat. Let's go around the neighborhood. Gu Yao looked at Qi Changjai, who nodded in agreement. I'll stay. Su Chen wanted to guard the retreat. So the 6 people divided into 3 groups. Guyao and Chi Changjai were not worried about Xiaobei going back now. They had seen it back then. The highest cultivation base failed to break through the immortals. Maybe it was because of the restrictions of heaven and earth. It may also be that the immortal energy there is too thin, and Xiaobei can't be offered by the local royal family when he goes back alone. Besides, after they left, those things will definitely not be covered up, but if Xiaobei's father has a conscience, it is impossible to ignore the Chen family. Even if his father is a conscience, will the royal family ignore it? Don't you worry about offending the Shangxian who took Xiaobei away. Therefore, Guyao and Chi Changjai went out to play with confidence. They stopped and walked, and they lived a very pleasant life. Occasionally, when the road was uneven, they even offered to help. Of course, they didn't even show up. It's been 5 years since they left. When they were tasting the local wine at the wine shop at home, they received a message from Su that Su Chen was about to leave the customs and was about to cross the robbery. The two immediately left the wine shop and rushed back. Su Chen's fairy Junji is not the same as Xiaobei's Xianji, they have to go back to protect him, and don't worry if they don't see it with their own eyes. When he returned to Zhao City, when he saw Xiaobei standing beside Tao Ziyan, winking and smiling at them, Guyao couldn't help but think of the senior Jinhong he had seen in Xianfu. He really became a different person, and now it is Tao Ziyan. No longer had the idea of accepting Jinhong as his apprentice to overwhelm him, and truly put himself in the position of master. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 705. Xiaobei didn't know the real cultivation of Guyao and the others. After all, the most powerful talent in Zhao City was the same as the Donglan city he had been to. Of course, in his understanding, Master and this uncle is more powerful than the cultivators in the city, so there is nothing they don't understand, and they understand more deeply. Ignoring the narration, we first arranged Su Chen's tribulation location. They found it by the way when they went out to play, and now they just go there. Tao Ziyan took Xiaobei to stay behind, and the strengths were very different. The cypress tree doesn't do any good either. Xiaobei didn't make trouble. He knew that there must be a reason not to let him go. He only learned the truth from the master after several teachers left. Ziyan Junji? Shivo, they are all immortals? Master too. Xiaobei's eyes were rounded, and his tone changed. He was expressing his disbelief and shock. Unexpectedly, the last sentence made Tao Ziyan's face darken and said, "The reason why they are your uncles is because your master is not as good as them, you know. However, your master is getting too fast, and it won't take long before you can get over the immortal monarch tribulation," Tao Ziyan said to save again. Xiaobei rolled his eyes and snickered in his heart, but he must not show it, and said in a shocked tone, "Master is so powerful, those monks in the city actually said that Master is a genius, and that you are nothing. Amazing." Tao Ziyan waved his hand generously and said, "You don't need to have common knowledge with them, you just need to know that in the future, like Master, you will reach a height that they cannot reach." This remark made Xiaobei yearn for it. I usually heard the master and the uncles talk about the outside world. I knew that the outside world was very big. If it wasn't for the low level of cultivation, I would have long wanted to leave Zhao City and go out to practice. The immortal monarch tribulation is huge, even though the location chosen by the four of Guyao is a little far from Zhao City, and layers of immortal arrays are placed to prohibit, but the scene like the end of the day and the thunder tribulation that is enough to destroy everything is far away in Zhao City. The monks could still feel it, and they were all shocked. In the end, who is the calamity nearby, and what calamity is crossing? This topic quickly climbed to the top, and other topics were crowded out, especially the forces and families in the city are more concerned, worried that such a strong person will appear in the west. Will the vicinity of Yao City have any impact on their status? Only Tao Ziyan and Xiaobeishi stayed at the residence leisurely, because Tao Ziyan gave Xiaobeishi the reassurance ball. Su Chen could not fail to cross the tribulation, rest assured and wait, but someone came to the door to discuss with them. The strong, pull the 5 monks here, maybe you can increase your strength. Tao Ziyan was not afraid to tell them the truth. Don't ask, now it's by Ran's master Su, and 3 more masters are going to protect the law. The monks who heard it with their own ears couldn't believe their ears, but at this time they had already been sent out by Tao Ziyan, pinched themselves and felt pain, and realized that everything was not an illusion just now. So the monks here, what kind of power is it? The news spread quickly, and Tao Ziyan didn't care what kind of uproar caused in Zao City, because he didn't want to take Xiaobeishi to live here for a long time, but he was still a fairy before, and he was not suitable for walking in the starry sky for a long time, and the foundation must be laid first. At this moment, Su Chen was transcending the tribulation, and he knew that when Su Chen's cultivation base was consolidated, it would be time for them to leave, so the attitude of those people outside had no effect on them and Xiaobeishi. Some families and forces in Zao City regretted Mo. Since Xiaobeishi came back to retreat, the contacts between him and the monks of the same age have decreased, and Tao Ziyan and others have rarely appeared outside again. Whatever the benefit, the relationship with here will fade. Only now I know that the reason for the lack of communication is that people disdain to communicate with these family forces, and at the same time realize that if it is not for Xiaobeishi, a young man who has just entered the practice, they will not stay in Zao City. The Yi family, who had planned to make Xiaobeishi his son-in-law, was terrified. Fortunately, there was no follow-up to the original incident, otherwise Xiaobeishi's master could spare them. But there is another hope. If Xiaobeishi likes the daughter of the Yi family, then Tao Mianheng can't stop it. Don't they have a chance to climb the in-laws of the immortal monarch level? But looking forward to it again is a daydream. After the calamity was over, Li Su brought Su Chen back and entered the retreat again. Tao Ziyan naturally told Xiaobeishi about his next plan. Xiaobaran accepted it well. Nostalgia. It was also at this time that Guyao and Qi Changjai learned from Tao Ziyan of Xiaobeishi's previous return. Tao Ziyan didn't come forward, but he has been hiding in the dark to avoid any accidents. Just as Guyao and the others speculated, after Xiaobeishi left, the disturbed royal family stepped in to investigate the cause and effect. All the actions of the Chen family were exposed, and the royal family quickly dispatched troops to surround the main family and branches of the Chen family. They are strictly prohibited from contacting the outside world, and they are kept in captivity like pigs. Because the words that Tao Ziyan left behind waiting for Xiaobeishi's return to repay kindness and revenge were not only heard by the people in the mansion, but also spread outside the mansion. When the royal family knew such words, they understood that the reason why Tao Ziyan did not deal with it at that time was to these people left Xiaobeishi to cook by themselves, so they didn't ask any questions other than captive breeding these years. It was Xiaobaran's father's family, and the royal family did not deal with it, but the father, who was in power, became a marginal figure because of this matter, so he put it aside. If Xiaobeishi paid attention, he could continue to reuse his father when he came back. If you don't want to see your father, let's keep it. Guess what the man did, Tao Ziyan said. Guyao raised his eyebrows. Although he is Xiaobeishi's biological father, what happened at the beginning was enough to show that this man was indecisive and soft-hearted. Xiaobeishi didn't grow up by his side, how much can he have? Feelings. Far less than the mother and son around him. Does he think that everything is done by the Chen family, and the woman doesn't say that the child is innocent? If you want to look forward to the father-son relationship from him, little Cyprus is destined to be disappointed. Tao Ziyan sighed and said angrily, yeah, you can see through it. He just kept the woman in the side yard, and there were other women and children around him. Because the little cypress tree never appeared, he began to appear. Loosen, and under the persuasion of my son, let the woman out. Actually, That's fine, so that little Cypress can see more clearly what kind of person his father is, and he can be completely cut off. When Xiaobeishi flew over the mansion, the mother and son had just come out of the courtyard, and when they were happy and counted Xiaobeishi as a disaster star, they saw Xiaobeishi coldly looking over at the sky above, and it seemed that they had met. Ghostly. Even if they haven't seen each other for more than 20 years, but Xiaobeishi is very similar to his biological mother, how could the Chen family daughter not recognize it, so she screamed loudly. The appearance of Xiaobeishi attracted people from the royal family in the mansion, and they rushed over. The woman had already guessed Xiaobeishi's identity, but her father saw him as a stranger, and only realized him after being reminded. It was the son who left that year. At that time, his expression was very complicated, and it was no longer as meaningful as before, and everyone was a little blessed. The royal family has raised a lot of monks, and they are very respectful to Xiaobeishi. The prince wants to get close to Xiaobeishi. If they get Xiaobeishi's support, it goes without saying that they will be invincible in the struggle for imperial power. Will be the next emperor. Seeing that the mother and son were living well, Xiaobeishi was very disappointed with his father, and when he saw other women and the newly added half-brothers and sisters, Xiaobeishi felt very ironic. He directly searched for the woman's soul, without the need for his own father's defense. He could get the answer himself. If he was innocent, he would spare their mother and son's lives. What kind of temperament is Tao Ziyan? Of course he won't raise his apprentice into a white lotus flower, plus Xiaobeishi remembers things in his early years clearly. How can he let it go easily? There is also his biological mother's life. My father wanted to stop it, but was stopped by the monks of the royal family and let Xiaobeishi act. How could that woman, an ordinary person, be able to resist Xiaobeishi's soul search? No need to investigate, everything in those days will be revealed. Knowing that the death of her biological mother was controlled by this woman, and she ordered people to get herself into the branch of the Chen family, Xia Cypress did not hesitate at all, and killed her directly. He said to the man, "Master is right, you are blind and confused, but don't worry, you are my father, I will not take action against you, but from now on, you will never get the slightest bit of light from me." Several princes looked at the man sympathetically. He was shelved before, and now he is going to be exiled. He is alive and alive. No one dares to kill him easily, but he will not have a good life one day. But it is really unsympathetic. He clearly holds the best card, but he is beaten to pieces. If you have a good relationship with this son, it is impossible to say that even the throne will be handed over to him, but now I will live in remorse for the rest of my life. In the meantime, he was tortured and tormented every day. Immediately, Xiaobeishi left the mansion and went to another courtyard to rest at the invitation of the prince. There, knowing the situation of the Chen family over the years, he was still very satisfied with the royal family's current affairs. His heart is much brighter, and he also has the blood of the royal family on his body, so he doesn't mind that when the dynasty is in trouble in the future, he will protect one or two. As for the Chen family, they were dealt with in accordance with the laws of the dynasty. He wanted to inquire about the situation of his biological mother, the Xia family, and the princes had also prepared them early in the morning. The Xia family was an ordinary family, and they didn't know it, but these years have been a lot better. Maybe the Chen family didn't take the Xia family seriously at the beginning. Disdained to deal with them, otherwise the Xia family would not be there. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 706. Tao Ziyan is very satisfied with Xiaobeishi's choice and practice, which is due to the fact that they found the little cypress tree at a very comfortable time. Otherwise, even if the little cypress tree can survive a few years later, it is likely to be immersed in hatred. Melted. While waiting for Su Chen to leave the customs, Gu Yao and Qi Chengjai used this last time to teach Xiaobei. He was still young, so he didn't need to work hard to improve his cultivation. Xiaobei, who put down his burden, also learned very happily. When Su Chen left the customs, Xiaobei had just been promoted from the early stage of human immortal to the middle stage of human immortal, and the group was ready to leave Zhao City. Although Cyprus has made some friends in the past few years, the relationship is not deep. In recent years, he has come to the strength of the masters and uncles. He sees it very clearly, so even if he wants to separate, he does not feel reluctant to give up. In comparison, the master is more important. After saying goodbye to friends, he boarded the Xianchuo with his masters and uncles. Regarding their departure, the family forces in Zhao City were very complicated. Since the strength of Xianjun was exposed in front of them, they became tied up, and the difference was too great to run in front of them. Now that they have left, these people feel both relaxed and at the same time lost. Such masters have stayed in Zhao City for more than 20 years, but they have not seized the opportunity to climb up, and the great opportunity to fly is just missed. The luckiest one is Xiaobei. Everyone can see that these people stayed here for him. How could this boy be so lucky to be accepted as a disciple by his master, and he also got a few more? The personal teaching of an immortal monarch is such a blessing. They also wanted to investigate the origin of Xiaobei, but no one thought that he was from a mortal kingdom. Tao Ziyan and his party did not leave any traces for them to find out the truth. Envy and jealousy. At first, Xiaobei was very excited to stay in Xianchuo. The scenery of the starry sky was ever-changing and often magnificent, but after a long time, it became a bit boring, especially when they stopped along the way. They were basically on their way. In the end, they just stayed in the room honestly, to complete the tasks assigned to him by his master and his uncles. Half a year later, when they arrived, they passed by a city when they came. Several people on the road also discussed it. Tao Ziyan took Xiaobei, an apprentice, to choose where to settle down. In the end, they chose this place with a long-distance teleportation array. If something unexpected happens, you can also leave in time through the teleportation array. Also, because of the existence of the teleportation array, this city is very prosperous, and monks from all walks of life gather here, so that the monks living here have a broader vision than other places, and the atmosphere is quite open. All this is not surprising to Gu Yao and the others, because they have seen the more prosperous scene of a larger city, but it is very different for Xiaobei, who is new to the world, so after settling down, Tao Ziyan simply takes him first. Walk around the city and see monks and objects of all kinds. Master, aren't the masters and uncles coming out to play with us? In the restaurant, Xiaobei looked at the people coming and going on the street downstairs, and turned to Tao Ziyan. Tao Ziyan looked at him and said, "Your uncles have been delayed for a long time because of my affairs. In fact, the master and them met by chance at first. I didn't expect that there would be such a fate. Now it's time for them to leave." The glass in Xiaobei's hand slipped onto the table, and the wine flowed out. In fact, he also felt something in his heart, but it was really at this moment, and he was very reluctant. Since he left that place, the master and his uncles have been with him until he left. Growing up, in his mind, he was his family. When you succeed in your cultivation in the future, you can go to several of your uncles, and you don't have to be reluctant. In the future, when you can stand on your own, you may even think that master is too busy and go out alone. How old you are, what are you being hypocritical about? As he spoke, Tao Ziyan slapped his apprentice on the head impatiently. Master. Xiaobei was extremely embarrassed. This disciple is just not used to it for a while. Tao Ziyan added, "Your disciples haven't practiced for a long time, but they are all immortals. It is conceivable that they are not mediocre in this fairyland. Maybe soon, you can go anywhere. Hear their names and deeds." So in order not to lose the face of your uncle, you have to strive for it. Xiaobei nodded, he will work hard. However, the atmosphere was a little low, and the words between the master and the apprentice became less. When there was no sentence, the sound from the outside entered their ears. Then the fusion dan launched by Fenjian firm is really so miraculous. Of course, have you never heard of the name of Fushendan? You are too ignorant, right? Fushendan is famous in the Void Beast battlefield. Who doesn't admire the one that developed Fushendan? It's a pity that an elixir master has left Void City, and the fusion pill from his hand is truly invaluable, but it's a pity that it has no price. I don't know the name of that alchemist. One is ancient alchemist Gu Yao, and the other is his senior brother Su Chen, alchemist Su, who also intervened in the development of fusion pill. How can Fenjian business get fusion pill to auction? It is said that it is also because Fenjian business once the two alchemists helped them when they were in trouble, and that's why they were able to build up this relationship. I didn't see the other business managers in our city, and my eyes were burning with jealousy. Actually, what they have done is more than just the Fushendan, and the other thing flows out even less, because Xian Wutang controlled that thing to spread out. You said it was a nuclear explosion. Yes, it is this thing. On the battlefield of the Void Beast, the nuclear explosion has achieved a lot of prestige, killing the Void Beast. The master and the apprentice stared wide-eyed. 11 Bulletin said what they knew about Gu Yao and Su Chen. Master, could it be Uncle Shi and the others? Xiaobei asked in a low voice. He already had gold stars in his eyes, and he was very excited just listening to it. Tao Ziyan coughed lightly, and fulfilled what he had just said before. Who else is there besides them? I remember what they left behind. Pills include fusion pill, and those self-defense items, which should not be used easily until life is at stake. Anyway, the elixir left by your uncle, even if there is only one breath left, can save you. Xiaobeishi's black line, don't be so cruel. Tao Ziyan didn't expect Gu Yao and the others to have such identities. Although they also talked to Xiaobeishu about the Void Beast battlefield over the years, they didn't talk about their great achievements. It turns out that not only they themselves are immortals, but Master is also an immortal. June, there is also immortal Emperor Yuhan behind him. Tao Ziyan looked at his apprentice again and was a little proud, seeing that he found such a big backer for his apprentice, but he must not be arrogant, so he reminded in a low voice, you can know these things yourself, and don't tell anyone other than Master. Mention it, lest someone squeeze your life to blackmail your teachers and uncles. Xiaobeishu immediately became nervous. I won't, Master, don't worry. When the master and the apprentice heard these things in the restaurant, the four of Gu Yao had already left through the teleportation array, and they did not formally communicate with Xiaobeishu. Do not. Although there are countless people who have come and gone over the years, they have become accustomed to it, but watching the child grow up a little bit with his own eyes, even though he has no teacher or apprenticeship, he has taught for all these years, and he is still a little reluctant. However, Little Cypress has his own way to go, and they also have their own journey, so that bit of reluctance will soon be put down, and they have to look forward, and it will come when they will meet. Speaking of which, it was not for nothing that they stayed by the side of the little cypress tree all these years. Looking at the changes in the space, Gu Yao said with a smile, I don't know. Is it destined to go somewhere? We have been with Xiaobeisha for so long, and his previous life gave us the source of gold. So at this moment, under the ground of the small world, that ore vein has begun to take shape, and it will continuously provide various refining materials for Gu Yao, but this was only when they left Zao City to travel. Qi Changjai took Gu Yao's shoulders, and as a soul companion, he could also see, we are destined to meet all kinds of people along the way. We were and will be in the future. It is also an exercise of the heart. Yes, they have not practiced in seclusion these years, but their state of mind cultivation is also slowly improving, which is different from the cultivation on the Void Beast battlefield. Although it is slow, it is more solid. The integration of the source of gold also allowed Guyao, the master, to enter the middle stage of Xianjun from the early stage of Xianjun. This is the result of his suppression. As a result, it is even more impossible to retreat and cultivate, but requires a longer period of time. Time to beat the mood. The four people who were deeply touched did not just hurry on the road, but stopped and walked to look at the scenery on both sides of the road. On the way, they encountered many people who wanted to attack them. However, 3 immortal kings and 1 demon king, this strength can be it is worthy of the powerful forces of any party, and it will naturally have no effect on them. The other forces are nothing, but when they meet the hostile star thieves, they can bluntly take it away. Therefore, when they reach the junction of the 3 realms, their net worth not only did not shrink because of the expenses along the way, but rose again. Of course, with their current vision, ordinary things can't get into their eyes. Let's talk about immortal stones. Low-grade immortal stones are too lazy to take them, medium-grade immortal stones are so-so, high-grade immortal stones can make them face up, and only high-grade immortal stones can make them move. It's a pity that the number of top-grade immortal stones is still limited. The hundreds of top-grade immortal stones that I got from Senior Jinhong last time were divided among the 4, and they were all used up for cultivation. After using the best grade immortal stones and then using the top grade immortal stones, I always felt that it was not so good. Carefree. This is called from simple to extravagant easy, from extravagant to simple is difficult. The border area of the 3 realms is also called the Chaos Star region by the monks of the 3 realms. Among the 4, I am familiar with this place, but I did not stay here for a long time. Later, I turned from here to Void City. When he came back here, he concealed his face, otherwise his outstanding face would be too conspicuous, and it would not be long before he would be recognized. The 4 of them slightly improved their concealed cultivation and transformed themselves into monks in the late stage of heavenly immortals. After all, this place is based on strength, and they believe in the strong for the weak. The cultivation is too weak, and everyone can be bullied. They do this to reduce trouble. Sure enough, as soon as their cultivation base was released, the eyes of many monks changed. Slaying the dragon, as soon as the 4 of them arrived, they were caught off guard and heard shocking news. Transmigration, First-Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 707. The dragon and the Phoenix clan have both been in contact with them on the battlefield of the Void Beast, and the same is true before they ascended to the immortal world, but the blood of those dragon and Phoenix clans is not pure. The dragon and Phoenix clans with strong bloodlines are all in the clan of the 2 clans, and they will not be released easily. The monks of the 2 clans on the battlefield of the Void Beasts have relatively strong bloodlines. Even if there are monks who look at them, there are the emperor-level bosses sitting in the town, who dares to do it on the battlefield. Moreover, they were surrounded by a large group of demon cultivators, and it was difficult to find an opportunity if they wanted to start. Now when I came to Chaos Star territory, I heard many monks calling friends and going to slay the dragon, which made people wonder if the dragon family suffered a great disaster and the old nest was destroyed, which made the monks so crazy. Suppressing the surprise in their hearts, the 4 of them mixed into the cultivator group to inquire about it. Without them asking deliberately, they knew that the 4 of them had come and gone and met again to exchange the news they had inquired with each other. I heard that the dragon to be slaughtered is a sinister dragon, and for some reason, it was so fierce that it swallowed up several of the same clan in the dragon clan, and one of them. It is still a dragon with a very strong bloodline and a valuable status. This was not discovered by the senior officials of the dragon clan, but he escaped, and the news also spread. Yes, what we heard is the same. It is said that this evil dragon appeared in the Chaos Star territory for the last time, so now many monks have made up his flesh and blood idea to kill the dragon, and the dragon family will the evil dragon is captured and brought back to be punished. The four of them looked at each other. They didn't expect that the timing of their arrival was so unfortunate. It is conceivable that because of the appearance of this evil dragon, the chaotic star field will become more chaotic. After realizing it, he said, "No wonder I think there are more monks in the Chaos Star territory this time than before. It should be for this news. No matter which realm, monks are very interested in the dragon race. Phew. Especially this time the dragon can be slaughtered in an upright manner. In the past, it was done in secret. Once it was discovered, it would face the endless pursuit of the dragon clan. Although the dragon clan was not happy this time, it could not treat these cultivators. Su Chen was very happy, grinding his fists and said, slaying the dragon, we have never done it before, this time our Gukka team will come out again, let's slaughter the dragon. Guyao and Chi Changjai looked at each other and couldn't help laughing, since we caught up, wouldn't it be a waste of time not to join in the fun, so let's go and have a look. Su Chen cheered. After determining the target, you can no longer blindly follow the trend like the cultivators outside. Now all kinds of news are flying everywhere, making it difficult to tell which one is correct. Just from the information I inquired before, I have heard 10 different kinds of the place where the evil dragon is said to appear last, so I can't follow these rumors. The place they are staying now belongs to the outer part of the Chaos Star territory, and the news is lagging behind, so the four of them set off immediately and went to the largest monk settlement in the Chaos Star territory, a place called Dark Star. The size of the Dark Star is not too small compared to the Void City. There are countless forces, large and small. There are even Emperor-level masters in the center. Several heaven-level monks come here. Under the current situation, they can't attract any one side's attention. Of course, the name of Gukka's team will not be played out in an open manner. It is Li Su, who has never been to Dark Star before, because he knows that with his strength, it is difficult to get ahead here. They abandoned Xianchuo and flew to the Dark Star from the sky. After sweeping their consciousness, they found that before they entered the Dark Star area, there were dozens of killing incidents going on in the air. Liao Su felt that it was normal, but Guyao He Su Chen was struck dumb. This is the case on the outside, is it more disordered on the inside? Of course, the four of them would not participate in those battles and slaughter. They thought of entering the Dark Star first to find a place to stay, but this kind of place, if you don't want to look for trouble, things will not come to the door. Can safely enter the Dark Star. But who would have thought that it was getting closer and closer to the Dark Star? A dozen monks appeared from the front, blocking their way fiercely, and the slap in the face came so quickly. Stop! This is the site of our demon breaking section. It's so easy to walk through our demon breaking sect's site. What's the face of our demon breaking sect? The three of Guyao looked at the empty eyes. What does this mean? Is it really the site of the demon sect? Go somewhere else? Liao Su shook his head secretly, but said on his face, then let's take a detour. Said they were about to fly to the side, but as soon as they moved, the cultivators also moved and surrounded the four of them. The leading demon cultivator shouted again, what is it when we break the demon sect? Come and leave if you want. Yes, it was clearly looking for slander, and he had a smile on his face just now, but now he is welcome. He lowered his face, and the word go burst out from the tip of his tongue, which immediately made these cultivators dizzy. Guyasan people took the opportunity to punch the cultivator in front of them, knocking them out with a few bangs. Broken demon sect? I think it is similar to the broken demon sect. What kind of thing? Su Chen pointed at these guys with his hips on his shoulders and scolded. Okay, let's go, there's no need to entangle with them. Lu Su pulled Su Chen and said. The four continued to fly forward. This time, no monks came out to stop them, but they found that many people were spying on them. Maybe they found that they were not easy to mess with, so they stopped showing up. However, the news that the Broken Demon Sect was renamed the Broken Demon Sect spread, and the broken demon sect also quickly replaced the broken demon section. It was called a thief, but the cultivators of the broken demon sect vomited blood. It is not easy to find the 4 people in the Dark Star again. Even if they are found, the name of the tattered sect cannot be removed from their heads. As soon as they stepped on the ground of Dark Star, a cultivator ran over and saw that he was just an Earth Immortal. The 4 of them did not move, but wanted to see what he was doing. Without them waiting, the cultivator took the initiative to explain to them, the 4 seniors don't understand the broken demon sect. No, why did the broken demon sect attack the seniors? That's right, it's quite good, boy. Su-chen laughed. This cultivator was too enthusiastic, and the broken demon sect was just casually talking about it. Of course, he didn't expect that at this moment, the broken demon sect would not be able to name this name. The number is moved again. The broken sect is more famous than the broken demon sect. Compete. The local immortal was ashamed, hoping that those guys in the demon sect didn't hear what he was talking about, and explained, actually, this has something to do with the evil dragon. Since the news of the evil dragon came, the dragon slaughter team appeared one after another. There are more and more, but there is only one evil dragon, which is not enough for so many teams, so some teams are deliberately looking for trouble. Guyao suddenly said, it turns out that they are deliberately looking for ballast, just don't want us to enter the Dark Star and join the dragon slaying team. Earth Immortal nodded. They also watch people serve food, not only in the junk section. If the 4 seniors go from other places, they will also encounter obstacles. Of course, they underestimated the 4 seniors, and they used to be able to stop the seniors. Already. Su-chen smiled, if you can talk, what else is going on? Earth Immortal teased and said, of course, these situations are trivial, the battle within the Dark Star is fierce, and there are often several dragon-slaying teams fighting together, so the 4 seniors should be careful when they come to the Dark Star, try not to get involved in these battles. Now many teams are also recruiting people, and the 4 seniors just chased away the people from the ruined sect, and some teams must have discovered, maybe someone will come to win the seniors. Oh? Then tell me, what are some of the more powerful teams? Guyao asked with a smile, not knowing which way this Earth Immortal is. Senior wants to hear it, then I will tell the seniors truthfully, there are 4 strongest teams right now. The 4 of Guyao invited the cultivator to the restaurant to have a meal, and listened to his explanation slowly. The 4 strongest teams are respectively dominated by the late-stage masters of the Emperor level. I haven't heard of the Emperor level bigwigs intervening in the dragon slaughter. Therefore, these 4 teams are the Blood Slaughter, the Mad Demon team, the Xiaofeng team and the Tianxia team. The Monarch level master behind the Blood Slaughter team has the name of Blood Slaughter, and most of his subordinates are notorious and ruthless. Behind the Mad Demon team is also a Demon Master. The identity of the Master behind Xiaofeng team and Tianxia team is unknown, but it can be inferred from various signs that they are either immortal or demon cultivators, and their strength is comparable to the former 2. Under these 4 teams, there are countless large and small teams, such as the Broken Demon Sect. No, the Broken Sect is only a medium strength, because the Broken Sect has only one Supreme Elder from the early days of the Demon Lord, and that's all. It is impossible for the Elders to leave easily to participate in the dragon-slaying operation. Although the Earth Immortal cultivator did not stop introducing all aspects of the content, he did not eat less food and wine, and had a full stomach, so the 4 of Guyao were about to leave, and threw 10 middle-grade immortal stones to him, which was regarded as leading the way and introducing these situations. Remuneration. The Earth Immortal cultivator was a little dumbfounded. Seeing that the 4 of them were all smiling and walking away, they quickly chased after them. Don't the 4 seniors want to join a certain team? Su-chen said happily, tell me, it took so long, which team did you send to be a lobbyist? The Earth Immortal cultivator scratched his face uncomfortably. It turned out that he had already been seen by others. He said, actually, I am a member of the Tianxia team. The Tianxia team is mainly based on immortals, but there are also demons and demons. When Qiu joined it, the Tianxia team was originally a big force on Dark Star. Su Chen blinked and said, then let us think about it. Then he waved his hand and left, leaving the Earth Immortal alone. The Earth Immortal cultivator looked at the 10 middle-grade immortal stones in his hand, and sighed for a while, but it was not a loss. People. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 708. After leaving the Earth Immortal, the four of Guyao went deep into the Dark Star, found an inn at random and stayed there, and then spread out to inquire about the news. There are hundreds of millions of monks in the three realms, and it is even more difficult for the monks of the demon sect to find these four people. There is no way to visit all the dark stars in a few days, but the news on the surface has also been heard, which is not much different from what the Earth Immortal told them before. Now it can be determined that the last place where the evil dragon appeared is a dangerous place near the Dark Star. After killing a few monks, he disappeared completely. The news of the evil dragon's appearance is the one who died in him. The monks under the claws came out before they were slaughtered, and then several masters used various means to go back and confirm that the news was correct, so the Dark Star became the gathering place of the Dragon Slayer monks from all sides. There are several inferences now. One is that the evil dragon was seriously injured, so it turned into a human form to hide in the Dark Star. This is also one of the reasons why the Dark Star has become more chaotic than before. Any strange monk may become the object of suspicion. The second inference is that the evil dragon hid in the secret realm near the Dark Star to recover from his injuries. I heard that the evil dragon has some supernatural powers in space, otherwise it would be impossible to be hunted by the senior dragon clan. They can still escape from the dragon clan, so I believe that there are many monks who make this inference. They are all investigating the various secret realms in the Dark Star area, but some secret realms are not so easy to enter before they are opened. The Butcher and the Mad Demon team have the intention to act together, and the Xiaofeng team and the Tianxia team have been moving around more frequently recently. Not to mention the four most powerful teams, the small and medium-sized teams below are varied, and it is estimated that they cannot be calculated in units of thousands. The more these teams are fighting, the more fiercely they fight. Nowadays, the chaos outside is almost all caused by them. Of course, it's not ruled out that those four teams are behind it. Qi Changjai smiled and said, in that case, we don't have to worry, we just want to join in the fun, so it's better to mix in these teams and take the opportunity to fish. He admitted falsely and said, yes, that's what I mean too. They make trouble with them, and we'll see what we do. Su Chen was a little unhappy. What about the prestige of the Guka team? But the minority obeys the majority, he can only follow the crowd. The four of them walked to the street, and the figure of the evil dragon had not yet appeared, but the battles between the various teams were in full swing. These fellow deists, at first glance, I think we are destined. Why don't you join our Vayaba dragon slaying squad? Hey, don't go so fast, let me tell you about our Vayaba squad's ability. A cultivator first stopped the four of Guyao, and then ran after them, but in a blink of an eye, he lost and had to come back and continue to work hard. Guyao laughed, Vayaba Dragon Slayer Squad? Even the Blood Slayer squads didn't dare to use the title of Dragon Slayer openly. After all, they still don't want to annoy the Dragon Clan, so this kind of team doesn't need to be seen to know that they can't get on it. Countertop. From the beginning to the end of this street, they have encountered 7 or 8 situations like this. Some use soft ones, and some go directly to hard ones. They want to pull them into the team forcefully, like a strong man. They have to Xiaolu threw these people away with one hand, but was immediately targeted by other teams, thinking that they could be made. 4 fellow deists. Someone stopped them again, and Su Chen, who thought it was very interesting at first, couldn't help but look up at the sky with his forehead, and quickly waved his hand and said, I. We have no fate with you, and we are not talented, and we don't want to be a little bit of your team. You can find other people who are destined. The person snickered, and the voice sounded a little familiar. Guyao looked suspiciously at the passerby, and almost blurted out a name, when he saw the passerby stretched out his finger and made a silence gesture at them, and said, "Let's go, let's find a place to have a good chat, we will definitely let you know. You feel that your fate with us is very poor, and it would be a great loss for you to miss us." Guyao pulled Chi Changjai to follow, dumbfounded. Su Chen was dubious, and there was a hint of understanding and surprise in Li Su's eyes. He didn't expect to meet someone Guyao and Chi Changjai knew. Thinking about the previous experiences the two of them talked about with him, Liao Su had a guess about the identity of the person who came. After turning several corners, the four of them followed the monk to an ordinary courtyard. After pushing the door in, the formation was activated and isolated from the outside world. Guyao said at this time, "Is it Senior Hyugzu? Senior has also come to Dark Star? I wonder where Senior Luo Yang is now." It is true that the way of modesty is true. The only one who can deceive their eyes can only be the fox cultivator who is good at this way. "Haha, it's not us," Hyugzu laughed. The cover on his body faded, and he regained his true face, but it was not the Hyugzu of the Fox clan who helped him in Donglan City at the beginning. "What's your name, Senior?" I heard Huju say, "You all become immortals one by one, and you may leave me behind at some point, so call me Big Brother." "Okay, Brother Hyugzu." Guyao also felt very cordial when he saw the acquaintance. "And me." At this moment, Luo Yang also came out of the room and stood there smiling at Guyao and the others. "Big Brother Luo Yang, you are really here." Guyao was pleasantly surprised. Chi Changjai also bowed his hands to meet them. It was indeed a pleasant surprise to meet them here. "Sit inside, I didn't expect you to come here to join in the fun." Haha. Luo Yang came over and patted Chi Changjai on the shoulder. Since he and Husu knew that Guyao and the others went to the Void Beast battlefield, they have been paying close attention to their news, including the fact that they disappeared for 100 years. If they didn't know that the Immortal Emperor had nothing to do, they might have gone to the battlefield to take a look. These people have made a great reputation in Void City, and their cultivation base has been promoted to the monarch level, and they have become monks of the same level. Knowing that Guyao and Chi Changjai had survived the Immortal Monarch tribulation, they were shocked. Even if they were optimistic about these two juniors in Donglan City, they never thought that they could stand on the same level as him so quickly. "Go on, look at the speed of growth of others, and look at yourself, these hundreds of years are simply in vain." Guyao officially introduced Su Chen and Liao Su to Husu and Luo Yang. Although he knew the reputation of these two people, it was the first time they met, especially Liao Su. Guyao had inquired about them at the beginning, but he didn't expect them to be there. Encountered on the Void Beast battlefield. Two eldest brothers, you. Guyao took a closer look. Like them, they both showed a heaven-level cultivation base, which made them wonder if there are many monks in this Dark Star who are doing the same thing as them. "The water in the Dark Star is more muddy than they thought." Luo Yang jokingly said, "What do you think? We are the same, so that we can fish in troubled waters behind." Husu smiled and said, "Don't listen to his nonsense, our identities on the surface are not very easy to move, and we are not suitable for fighting with the dragons, so it is more convenient to do it this way." "There are many situations like this." Su Chen was shocked. "Yes," Husu affirmed his idea. "As far as we know, there are quite a few, but they are all privately. We have met some people on the street. Maybe they pulled your Tianxian cultivator before. It may be dressed by an immortal." Su Chen trembled, went crazy. Everyone went crazy. Did he run to the Dark Star and let himself go completely? Chi Changjai said in surprise, "Is it all for the evil dragon? Is there something we don't know behind this?" Luo Yang gave him a thumbs up. "Yes, not only for that evil dragon, but also involves an important secret realm of the dragon family. The four of them, including Su, were shocked. They didn't expect such a big relationship. It's no wonder that Su and Luo Yang would both appear here. They were really lucky in this fun, and they were excited again after being shocked. Luo Yang explained to them the situation behind this. The evil dragon is the evil dragon, but the value of the evil dragon is not so valuable to the monks of their level. What makes them pay attention to the secret realm that may exist? In the past, both the dragon and phoenix clans were very powerful clans, instead of staying in their own clan like now, and rarely showing up outside. In the early years, these two clans absolutely dominated the demon cultivation, even the Fox clan. To be honest, it was only in the subsequent catastrophe of heaven and earth that due to various battles, the dragon and phoenix clans both killed and injured many clan members, and suffered heavy losses. Later, the strongest of the two clans fell for special reasons, and the dragon and phoenix clan even returned to the clan land. Self-cultivation and rest, the once glorious name is no longer. Heaven and earth catastrophe? Guyao and Qi Changjai looked at each other. Could it be the ancient battle that led to the appearance of the Void Beast battlefield? Just from what we learned from the God's punishment space, we can tell how many great powers were lost and exiled into God's punishment due to that melee. Those monks in the space are also top-level powerhouses. Later, the Void Beast broke into the fairy and demon world, and in order to arrange a huge enchantment, and the powerhouse sacrificed, it is not an exaggeration to call it a catastrophe. Back then, the dragon and phoenix clans were very powerful, and the territory they occupied was also very large. Although the place they are staying is now called the clan land, it was only the ancestral land of the two clans at that time. Of course, they didn't say so themselves. Most of the monks don't know their former glory. In the process of returning to the clan, the dragon and phoenix families also lost a lot of things, including some secret realms, which can only be opened by the blood of the two clans. Guyao suddenly understood, so, the evil dragon suddenly disappeared. It is very likely that he entered a secret realm. This secret realm was not entered through his magical powers, but because of his dragon bloodline? Is it a secret realm lost by the dragon race? Yes, Luo Yang clapped his hands and praised. We have such speculation. Many signs indicate that it is a secret dragon realm, especially now that some people from the dragon tribe have come to the Dark Star in secret, which shows that our speculation is more credible. Guyao and Su Chen gasped. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 709. Because it is only speculation, not confirmation, there are not many people brought by Su and Luo Yang, and some are pulled from outside to make up the number. On the surface, it looks similar to other non-brand teams. Now the four of Guyao have also been drawn. Came in. But in the eyes of outsiders, this is a miscellaneous army of cultivators of the earth level and heaven level, and they are not very competitive. Except for the occasional shouting from Su, this team is generally quite low-key, and it has not been in a few melees. Roll them in. But the Guyaos believed that even if they didn't go out, they still had their sources of news. One was the Fox clan in the demon world, and the other was a powerful force in the demon world. It is impossible for them to have no scrutiny in a region like Dark Star, so they also don't run out anymore, go around to inquire about all kinds of news. They stayed in the yard where Su and the others lived, and after 10 days, Luo Yang suddenly informed them to gather and set off. A group of more than 20 people boarded the Star Shuttle and drove out of the Dark Star. At the same time, many aircraft and Star Shuttles flew from the Dark Star. Some aircraft broke through and exploded like fireworks. Competitors wreak havoc. Their Star Shuttle was controlled by Luo Yang himself, and people who did not know their identities were very worried when they saw other star shuttles running rampantly and surrounded them arrogantly. Out of the encirclement. Luo Yang always had a lazy smile on the corner of his mouth, but he didn't see any movement. The star shuttle flew out of the ecstasy route at high altitude. Obviously another star shuttle crashed over like suicide, and it was about to become another dazzling firework in the sky, but at the last moment, their star shuttle passed each other and through the same item. There was a loud bang, and a firework burst out behind him. Several people on the star shuttle were stunned. They had not yet woken up from their shock. After a while, they felt sweaty and frightened. Guyao and the others were very calm anyway. Such a small gesture might not be a rare demon sovereign, so they did not take the initiative to deal with others, otherwise they would be suspected of bullying the small. After several adventures, the cultivators who pulled in to make up the numbers also understood that Luo Yang's operation level was unusually high, and they only mistakenly thought that it was just a high level of operation, rather than pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. In a blink of an eye, they flew away from the dark star, and the dark star became a black mass behind them. Luo Yang pointed to a looming bright spot in front of them and said, "See, it's right there. Where did the evil dragon disappear?" There is no conclusion, only that it is near the dark star. During this time, the monks from all sides have turned this area upside down, and they have not been able to find the place. Just today, we got news that there was an energy fluctuation here, and later the news further confirmed that the fluctuating energy actually carried dragon breath, so the secret realm of the dragon family didn't run away. Husu guessed on the side, "I don't know what happened to the evil dragon who broke into the secret realm, but according to the current situation, it is certain that because of his intrusion, the restrictions on this secret realm were loosened, and if such a change occurs, otherwise the dark star area has been around for so many years, and no cultivator has discovered that there is a secret realm hidden there." While they were talking, they had already flown to the place where the energy wave was said to carry the dragon's breath, and they saw the monk who arrived first, trying to open the restriction. Luo Yang took them to abandon Xingshuo, and did not say that he would go up and help, but took them to the side to watch. Anyway, as long as they opened it, others could enter and they could enter. If it could only be opened by the dragon blood, then they go up is also wasted effort. Why bother? Luo Yang and Husu swept around, both of them laughed meaningfully, and then voice transmission told the four of Guyao, who were acquaintances who stayed on the side like them as passers-by, and they were surprised to hear this. The secret realm really attracted many experts to hide in the crowd. It seemed that someone had spotted Luo Yang and his party, swept their eyes lightly, and then pretended not to know them. At this time, there was a pleasant chirping sound in the air, and Husu's complexion changed. "It's a member of the Feng clan, and the Phoenix clan really came, so I said how could the Dragon clan be less of their share?" During the conversation, a dozen or so flaming phoenixes with long wings flew from the sky, rendering the starry sky red, and in the blink of an eye, they all turned into human figures and landed, causing a crowd of cultivators to watch and discuss, usually even one. The fire phoenix can't even see it, but this time there are more than a dozen at once, which can be described as a spectacle. The four of Guyao also looked over curiously. They had dealt with the Phoenix clan in the spiritual world, but as they said, those Phoenix clan bloodlines were not strong, but now the people who came here were different. And all of them are very arrogant and disdain to deal with the surrounding monks. Luo Yang murmured to Guyao and the others without fear, "I heard that in that catastrophe, the dragon and Phoenix clans also fought each other fiercely, and many clan members died in each other's hands. It is said that since then, the two clans have been fighting each other. Since they hate each other, I will say that there are evil dragons and dragon clan secret realms here. How could the Phoenix clan miss the opportunity to watch jokes and take advantage of the opportunity to step on their feet? They really came." He didn't use voice transmission. As long as his consciousness was swept away, the voice could be heard. Therefore, One of the dozen or so cultivators of the Feng clan suddenly turned his head to look at them, his eyes were sharp, and he was very displeased. Luo Yang grinned at them nonchalantly. Feng Yuan Rui, you don't have to have the same knowledge as other monks. Our goal is the evil dragon and the secret realm of the dragon family. Okay, but if you meet again when you enter the secret realm, don't blame me for being ruthless. Well, let's talk about it in the secret realm. It's not appropriate to make enemies outside now. For those in the know, the appearance of the Feng clan and his party was expected, but for many middle and lower level monks, it was very surprising. Could it be that the Phoenix clan also came out to slay the dragon? Isn't this a slap in the face of the dragon clan? Your news is out of date. I heard that the secret realm of Nilongjin is not an ordinary secret realm, but a secret realm exclusive to the dragon clan. However, it has not been discovered for these years. Think about it, how many years have passed? There is a lot to say. Thousands and hundreds of thousands of years, there must be many good things in this secret realm, so that we will have a good chance, otherwise, if we are far away, we will not be able to catch up. Really, the people who heard it were shocked. Of course it's true, the Phoenix clan will come, of course, mainly for this secret realm, maybe there are experts from other forces coming. What about the dragon clan? I guess it's coming too. The Phoenix clan is here, and they shouldn't be absent. This kind of word spread more and more, so the monks who came to look at the place where the energy fluctuated, their eyes became more and more fiery, and they could not wait to plunge in immediately, harvest a lot of treasures, and then soar into the sky. There are more monks who rushed over to open the ban. The harder it is to open, the higher the secret realm, the more intense the heart is, but I didn't realize that even the people of the Phoenix clan stood aside and did not do anything. When this secret realm of the dragon clan is really so easy to open. Feng Yuanzhang, the leader of the Feng clan, suddenly raised his head and looked in a certain direction in the distance. Immediately afterwards, the cultivators heard the roars of dragons, and they were shocked again. It was indeed the secret realm of the dragon clan, and this time it was a feast for the eyes. Not only did I see the Phoenix clan showing up, but even the dragon clan came. Where would I usually have the opportunity to see these two clans appear together? The sound of the dragons whistling was getting closer and closer, and when I looked up, I saw a giant dragon flying in the air, rushing towards it, either blue or purple, and the one flying in the front was a silver dragon. The dragon's body is so huge that more than a dozen giant dragons squeezed the starry sky to shrink the space. Ao Yinfen, you really came a long time ago, Feng Yuanzhang said sarcastically. I don't know where it was hidden before, and it is only now that it is revealed. Noodle. The silver dragon approached, and it also fell into the human form, and was waiting with the Feng clan on the left and the right. The people of the Feng clan were very handsome, and the monks of the dragon clan were very heroic. Ao Yinfen said displeasedly, Feng Yuanzhang, do you want to see it? My dragon clan's joke is too early. At least my dragon clan discovered a secret realm because of this evil dragon, and what about your Phoenix clan? Humph, I don't need your dragon clan to worry about my Phoenix clan's affairs. My dragon family is the same, you are too worried. The onlookers watched the first-year drama, and Guyao and the others were also interested in it. Sure enough, the dragon and the phoenix did not deal with each other, and as soon as they met, they got on each other, and the smell of gunpowder was full. Witnessing the appearance of these two clans one after another, Guyao also had to admit that both clans have unique innate advantages and are much stronger than other clans. Who can say clearly, Guyao has not forgotten the fate of the 100 clan. The dragon and phoenix clans hated each other, but the dragon clan was very afraid of the other monks who came. They were not only happy for the new dragon clan secret realm, but also very annoyed that the evil dragon acted carelessly, so that this secret realm was exposed under the eyes of the public. If the dragon clan was still as powerful as in the ancient times, as long as the dragon clan gave an order, who would dare to approach the secret realm for half a step? Not to mention entering the secret realm. However, when he came over, Aoyinfan and them analyzed the current situation. This time, the secret realm had to involve all cultivators. Otherwise, the real dragon slaughter action would take place on the Dark Star, and the target of dragon slaughter was no longer evil dragons, but their group. But fortunately, some things are only suitable for the use of all dragons, and they are not very useful to monks of other tribes. As long as they get great benefits from the secret realm, maybe the dragons can get a promotion. So everything waited for the end of the trip to the secret realm before making plans. Aoyinfan took a deep breath and flew towards the energy fluctuations with the tribe. Looking at the monks who were still unwilling to give up, Aoyinfan said coldly, "This is the secret realm of the dragon clan. Even if the Immortal Emperor and Demon Emperor come over, they may not be able to open it, so quickly retreat." Upon seeing this, an immortal monarch said, "Go away, there is Lord Lilang. The dragons are very angry again, this is to let the dragons be free labor for them." Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 710. The secret realm finally opened an entrance under the unique technique of the Dragon Clan and the breath of the dragon. The Dragon Clan took the lead in flying in from the entrance, followed by the Phoenix Clan. Luo Yang could see the problem at the entrance at a glance, and reminded, "Be careful, the dragons keep an eye out, the entrance passage is not stable, be careful to be crushed by the energy of the riot." As soon as Luo Yang finished speaking, he saw a cultivator trying to fly in first, but he screamed when he was halfway through the entrance. In the end, although his figure disappeared at the entrance, no one could guarantee that his fate would be good. It's bad, but this scene poured cold water on the head of the cultivator who was so excited just now, and he calmed down a lot. Afterwards, the monks from all sides were a lot more cautious, and they used various magical powers and defense methods to enter the secret realm without any risk. "Let's go to," Luo Yang said with a wave of his hand. In his opinion, the Dragon Clan's actions were justifiable. If it was replaced by him, it might have gone too far. They use the dragon's hand to open the dragon's secret realm. Isn't it normal for the dragon to put them together? But he has nothing to worry about. With their strength, they can't pass an entrance. You must know that the silver dragon is only at the peak of the monarch level, and has not yet broken through to become the dragon emperor. A cultivator in front of him has already raised his alarm. Those who have cultivated at the earth level are honest, and those who are at the early and middle stages of the heaven level, prepare to defend themselves. Magic weapon. As for those who are not strong enough and still do not believe in evil and want to force their way, the consequences are also at their own risk. The person reminded him and stabbed his head into the entrance. Guyao could see at a glance that this was also an immortal, and it was only at this moment that his identity was revealed. Strength. Except for the upper cities in the Void Beast battlefield, it is difficult to meet so many masters of the monarch level cultivation together in other places. When approaching the entrance, you can feel the raging wind and the space wind blades mixed with it. If you take a step forward, you can clearly feel the squeezing and pulling of the cultivator by the storm composed of them. Qi Changjai took Guyao's hand, and the sword energy around him surged, excluding all the squeezing and pulling, and flew to the secret territory with ease. Liao Su and Su Chen followed behind the two of them, and the red and demonic flames wrapped the two of them. Hu Su and Luo Yang complemented and quickly followed with their subordinates. They all passed the entrance smoothly, making the cultivators who were desperately resisting the extremely slow pace beside them look jealous. Of course, they were very clear in their hearts. The reason why people are so relaxed is because their strength is much higher than them. I didn't see it before, but the other party deliberately concealed their cultivation. I thought they were just here to slay the dragon. How could they have thought that so many masters were hidden? But fortunately, as long as they can survive in the secret realm, the harvest of this trip will be greater than they expected. When they think of this result, they have infinite fighting spirit in their hearts. The speed of travel accelerated again. When they came out of the entrance, they found that they were in another space. The energy here was extremely rich, and they rushed to drill into their bodies, and the fairy baby also opened its mouth to swallow the energy. It's just that the magic cultivators who came in, such as Luo Yang, have a rather stinky expression, because the energy here is biased towards immortal energy, not magic. In order to be empty but unobstructed, the red lotus karmic fire can burn the immortal energy outside and convert it into the pure energy that you need. Of course, this does not mean that there are no items needed by magic cultivators in the secret realm. If you can find the fallen dragons inside, the dragon blood and dragon meat keel on their bodies will be very useful to any cultivator. Let's split up first. Luo Yang suggested that there is no need for a few people with monarch level strength to huddle together. Okay, just follow big brother Luo Yang, let's go here. Okay, contact us anytime. Luo Yang clasped Gu Yao and his party, and flew away with his men. The same is true for Hu Su, so as not to get something good, his own people will fight first, so they spread out and get what they get. Everyone has their own predestined relationship, so there is no need for conflict. Because of the strong energy, I saw a lot of exotic flowers and plants along the way, but most of them could not enter the eyes of Gu Yao. If it was a little lower, Gu Yao's small world grew a lot, and it will continue to grow. Provided it to him, so Gu Yao still called out Zi Bao Bao. Zi Bao Bao likes to find all kinds of treasures for his master the most, and he is full of energy as soon as he comes out. In the mixed scent of fairy grass, he quickly recognizes a special kind. Brother, go there, I think there are good things there. Thing. Go. The four of them increased their speed and disappeared from the sight of the monk behind them in the blink of an eye. Those cultivators were not in a good mood. Damn, they are hiding their cultivation, running so fast, they might find something good. West. Forget it, even if they find good things, we don't have the strength to them. They are obviously here for the good things of the dragon clan. We should hurry up and find more fairy grass and other treasures. Although I met some fairy grasses of good grade on the way, but because of the good things in Zabao Bao's mouth, a few people thought about it and didn't stop. Maybe they won't have a chance if they miss this time. Those fairy grasses behind them still have a chance. Got it back. Traveling all the way, I finally reached the position that Zi Bao Bao sensed, but found that there were four runners, trying to break the restriction in front, and seeing the four Gu Yao later was very unhappy. This is the important place of the dragon clan, get out of the way, a monk scolded angrily. It is a pity that such a threat does not work for the four of Gu Yao, because there are only 5 dragon monks here, and the one who angered is the purple dragon I saw before, and the strongest silver dragon, Ao Yinfen, is not there. Therefore, after thinking about it, they also acted separately after they came in, so it is impossible to say that they are going after the evil dragon. Really? Are you sure you want to do it? Su Chen smiled proudly, and the breath on his body immediately rose. In a blink of an eye, it was in the early stage of Xianjun. This feeling of bullying people with strength is very happy. This is the first time he has been promoted to Xianjun. At one time, he used cultivation as an oppression. Only 2 of the opponent's 5 dragon clans are at the monarch level, and there are 4 peaks of the sky level. Su Chen, an immortal monarch, can't threaten them, but following Su Chen, the 3 of Gu Yao also removed their cover, and after a few slaps, 2 immortal monarchs and 1 demon monarch, this time the other party finally showed a stunned look on his face, and he felt a sense of suffocation. It was obviously on the side of the dragon clan's own secret realm, but he had to be controlled by the monks of the foreign tribe. The faces of the 5 dragon races changed. Although they didn't speak, they were actually communicating through voice transmission. Some agreed to do it directly. What if there were 3 immortals and 1 demon? When they were at their peak, it was not that they had never slaughtered immortal monarchs. The dragons were naturally strong and envied by the sky. Although their overall strength was not as good as before, they were not able to despise them and climb on their heads if they came to cultivate themselves. No, Yinfen said, don't do it until the critical moment, everything is about the dragon treasures. Ao Ximon's eyes flickered with voice transmission. Among these 5 people, he was the strongest. Su sensed a danger in his body. Although Renqiu's overall strength was very weak, there were always a few people who were not weaker than the strongest of the dragon clan until the end. Damn it, the other dragons complained and glared at each other. Ao Ximon said, then we will break the band together, we can't guarantee what will be inside. Okay, it's settled. Qi Changjai nodded lightly and stepped forward, the blood-colored slaughter sword floated in his hand, and Ao Ximon was startled again, and sure enough, his previous perception was not wrong. Slaughtering immortal sword, Ao Ximon exclaimed. Qi Changjai glanced at the other party in surprise, but thinking of the long history of the dragon clan, it was not surprising that the other party would recognize the sword. Yes, can you move away? Okay, forgive us for not knowing Mount Tai before. Ao Ximon simply conceded defeat. Who would have thought this was a powerful sword cultivator, or a sword cultivator with the slaughtering sword, which disappeared from the immortal demon many years ago in the demon world. They have only seen the description in the ancient books of the dragon race, but they have never heard of its birth, and they did not expect to witness it this time. Ao Ximon did not doubt the authenticity of the sword of immortal slaughter. The aura and murderous intent emanating from the sword was enough to show its origin. The other dragon tribes were also in shock, but when Ao Ximon told them the origin of the slaughtering sword, they all shut up, and when they looked at Qi Changjai and the others, it was not contempt or anger, but vigilance and vigilance. Crack, just a sword, opened a crack in the prohibition that the previous 5 dragons had not broken through their hard work, and the eyelids of the 5 dragons were jumping, and there was a feeling of pride being shattered. A group of people dodged in, and then covered up the crack. Before, Ao Ximon didn't want to fight with the 4 of Guyao, because he was worried about attracting other human race cultivators and exposing the existence of this place. As soon as they entered, the eyes of the 5 dragon clan flashed with joy, and then they looked at Guyao and the others vigilantly. The 4 of Guyao glanced at them, then raised their heads to look at a huge plant in this forbidden place. The vines spread out and climbed densely on the ground. The height was dozens of stories high, and there were golden fruits hanging on it. The surface of the fruit is covered with fine scales, just like the dragon scales on the dragon. Seeing this plant, Guyao and Su Chen glanced at each other. They recognized what this golden fruit was. They had seen it in the elixir. The dragon scale fruit, which is unique to the dragon family, is mainly used for the dragon family to purify their bodies. The bloodline helps him to advance, but it is also a rare treasure for non-dragon monks, and it is extremely beneficial to improve the strength of the physical body. Seeing their expressions, the joy in the hearts of Ao Ximon and the dragon clan was slightly lessened. Needless to say, these few people have recognized the dragon scale fruit. I am afraid they will not give up. Ao Ximon tried to discuss. Half of us, Guyao bluntly said, that it is impossible for them to give up. It is not so easy to get to their point and want to increase the strength of the physical body. The appearance of dragon scale fruit is just at the right time.